All
right. The session is now being recorded. Okay. And just some house rules, just to make sure that everybody is staying user focused and that this is a safe space for members to learn, network, and problem solve. We ask that all user group session attendees follow the rules. We're not going to be doing any self-promotion or pitching of any kind. We're not going to contact people outside of the user group without consent. And if a user group member shares their use case at a meeting, please make sure you do not share that information without their consent as well.
I'm just going to stop you quick. I know based on what you're reading, we have slides and we cannot see them.
Oh, the recording must have stopped when we
hit stop you again.
Okay. We're learning all kinds of things.
Despite all our best efforts, y'all, there we go. We are live.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay. So this is the notice about it's being recorded. These are the house rules. We will also share this deck at the end so you can go over all of this information when we're done. And also, most importantly, I know everybody who's here RSVP'd to the event, but we also need everybody to join the chapter. Jolynn put it into the chat, so just make sure that you click and join, and then that way you're actually a part of the user group.
And you will not be getting too much information. We are currently in the process of figuring out how to even send additional notes out of the system. But as we add any upcoming events, that's how you will get notified. So really the best way to just stay in touch and make sure that you're connected. And you can see other chapter members as well, which is a nice perk.
Awesome. So to kick things off, I'm Alicia Huntington. I currently work at Qualcomm, and I have about 13 years experience in brand and marketing operations. I currently live about 30 minutes south of Boston. And fun fact about me is I am terrified of the giant turkeys that run around the East Coast. I'm sure everybody on this call has seen those at some point in their lives. Just a personal fact about me, I spend most of my time with my family. I have 2 daughters, River and June, and my husband. And then just a little quick note about Workfront. I've been using Workfront for about 5 years now. My company uses it in a couple of different ways, but within marketing, we use it as a project tracker. And we're currently in the process of actually expanding into more of a content supply chain, with Workfront being at the hub of that. And then we also use it as a project approval manager, like workflows and brand and legal approvals. And I'm going to pass it off to Jolynn, who is the my cohort here.
Thanks, Alicia. So I'm Jolynn Holloman. I have a career a little over 15 years now, really 3 distinct chapters. I'm currently working in finance. I'm at Fidelity Investments, spanning across the Boston and our Merrimack, New Hampshire offices. But I started my career in nonprofits and in higher education and did a short stint in professional sports. I live in Central Mass. I live in the Marlborough, Worcester area. My fun fact, I was the captain of my high school bowling team, which tells you a little bit about the area of the country I grew up in. I grew up in central Pennsylvania. My husband and I share a husky and a tuxedo cat. We have been up in New England about 6 years now, and moved here from Brooklyn, New York. I am a little bit new to the formal project management world. I have worked in creative roles my entire career and marketing focused roles and kind of done a lot of project management off the side of my desk without a formal tool. In the last 10 years or so, I've been across a variety of tools, but our team adopted Workfront coming up on 2.5 years ago now. I joined the team as we were scoping out the tool and then helped to build out our instance and really serve as a system admin along some colleagues now. We have a few instances across Fidelity, but like Alicia, we use it really to help manage our creative team and work with delivery of assets and approval of assets with our partners across our corporate affairs group at Fidelity.
Right. So I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen for now, and hoping that we can kind of just go around and introduce ourselves. I think the easiest might be if we just call on people as we see them, if that's okay with everybody. And if you don't feel comfortable coming off camera, that's also okay. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. I see Brianna Howe first on my square.
Hey everybody, hopefully my Wi-Fi is okay right now. My computer is not cooperating at the office. Quick intro on my end, I work with Jolyn at Fidelity. I am primarily based in the Merrimack office. I lead our design teams. I'm the director of design, and I have a role in our operations and content management system. So I help do a lot of data asset management through our, various tools, and help Joe run our instance.
Awesome. Next, I see Jeffrey Gillis.
There we go. Off mute. Hello, everybody. Jeffrey Gillis. I work at Natixis Investment Managers in Boston. I live a little bit north of Boston. I've been at Natixis for over 8 years now. I work in the MarTech team with Workfront as part of many pieces of in our MarTech stack. Workfront, we project management. We have Workfront Fusion. We utilize Fusion, and we purchased planning in January as well. So we're using planning for content automation and distribution, and plan on expanding it even more so. So system admin and Workfront for us is global. So it's in the US and throughout all international, everywhere else, and managing that as well.
Great.
Awesome. Next, I see Kim Hodnett, and apologies if I'm mispronouncing anybody's name wrong.
Nope, you did great. Yes, hi everybody, Kim Hodnett. I was with Medtronic for the last 12 years, and we brought, which was then at Task, into Medtronic, into our marketing communications, marketing operations group, part of the implementation team, and then it went from there, and kind of, again, we were using it globally as well. It was our content supply chain, so it was our intake. We ended up at the very end of we just went through reorgs. I'm now a consultant, but using it, as our intake, and then Fusion with our compliance tool, and then with AEM as well. So but there's, again, just so much still to learn and to do and to see, and so happy to be here and have these opportunities for group discussions.
Awesome. Yes. Next, I see Krista Sparrow.
Hi, yep, Krista Sparrow. So I am over at Natixis Investment Management in Boston as well with Jeff. We're on the MarTech team together. So he kind of already covered from the Workfront side what we do here. I am about a little over a year in on the Workfront, or primarily supporting Workfront as well. So new-ish to the Workfront world. But we did go to Adobe Summit this past in March, and that was super exciting. So very much looking forward to learning from all of you about your use cases, how you guys are using it, so we can expand on it and kind of share our experiences as we've kicked off a handful of different Workfront projects this year.
Awesome. I wonder how many people here went to Adobe Summit. Maybe we should add that in as one of our survey questions.
Yeah, definitely need a show of hands. That is how Alicia and I met each other, and how this all kind of kicked off. So.
Love it. Next, I see Bradley Smith.
Hi there. I am sitting in Grafton, and I put Workfront in the summer of 2019, before the pandemic. Thank goodness for that. I can't imagine how we would have survived. It was very nice because at that time, my team, at that point, there were 9 of us using it. It was seamless, and actually, as we know, productivity actually went up like crazy. In one quarter, first quarter this year, we did over 800 projects in it. I used it throughout we had a major rebrand 2 years ago where I had actually 50 workers in it, 40 of them in India. And now I have about 13 of us in it in creative content, which is we use it very traditional as an ad agency. We use it for our creative workflow, but then that extended to, it was so successful, our paid media team uses it, our social media team uses it, as does our webcast. So been a stupendous tool. But we don't use any of the Fusion. We don't use anything advanced. We keep it real clean, just for the creative workflow. And it's a huge amount of work, and everyone just falls right in and loves it.
Awesome. Next, I see Megan White.
Hi, everyone. Megan White. I also work at Fidelity in the Boston office. Although I would say between Jolene and Brianna, we just have a different instance. My counterpart, Alyssa, I think she'll be joining probably a little bit later in the call. But my primary focus is within the marketing org under the Fidelity institutional side of Fidelity as a whole. Our entire marketing org is in Workfront. So, routing all projects, intake. A big priority of ours this year is kind of figuring out prioritization and just kind of realigning our backlog and our scoping better into Workfront. I would say our instance we've had for about 6 or 7 years. My personal experience with Workfront, I have about 10 to 12. So, Kim, I totally remember at task. I feel like I still see some URLs that pop up that say add task every once in a while. And yeah, I love to hear Jeff and Krista, you're all using planning. That's something we're looking into. We do have Fusion and we use that pretty regularly as well.
Great. Next, I see Jason. I feel like I'm going to mess up your last name. I'm not. Sire?
It's Sear.
Sear.
Oh, you can call me Sire. That's fine. No, I'm just kidding. I'm Jason Sear. I'm at MFS Investments. I'm the product owner for Workfront here. So we have over 300 users, and it does all our content creation. It's our central engine for our compliance reviews and audit. And we're heavy Fusion users, so we have an agile team that supports the system. And we have integrations. I think I forget exactly who it was, said AM, and we have AM, we have Calibra, and pretty soon we'll be fully integrated with FINRA for compliance submissions. So we've been on for 10 years now as Workfront users. And like I said, it is our primary compliance tool, but we've built in all of our content creation workflows. So, thank you.
I'm in the middle of doing integration with AM, so I'm very excited to hear others that already have that in place.
Yeah, it's super helpful.
Yeah.
Very excited to hear all of the compliance use cases as well, because as another fellow working in investments, we would love to be able to get our compliance partners utilizing the tool because they currently are not.
Show them proof. Our compliance team loves proof. They're it's their favorite thing in the world, tracking
building out
version
agendas
after version.
as we speak. Thank you.
Awesome. Next, I see Julia Phelps.
Hi, I'm Julia. I work for the Boston Beer Company, which is the parent of Sam Adams, Truly, Twisted Tea, Angry Orchard, Sun Cruiser, Dogfish Head, a few other alcohol brands that you've probably heard of. So we're based in Boston. I actually moved to Connecticut a couple of years ago, so I work remotely now, but still consider myself Boston-based and still attend any events in Boston as needed. So I started at Boston Beer about 5 years ago. They actually had brought it in previous to that, and I had used it. I had rolled it out at my last company. And so I've kind of taken what had been implemented not very well here and expanded its use a lot. We have about 750 users. And we use it because we're a consumer packaged goods company, which I'd be curious to hear from others who may be in that space. We do use it in marketing and creative, but it's actually way beyond that. We use it for engineering projects in our manufacturing plants and capital projects and product development, sensory testing, lots of different areas of the business. And we use it in a lot of different ways. So Boston Beer wasn't really a place where you could kind of come in and set a standard that would apply to everyone and say, this is how you're going to use it. So I've worked with teams to kind of help them figure out what they need and the best thing that works for them. And so some teams are using it to intake requests and track, just kind of ticketing like issues and turn them around. And some teams are using it to run full projects, and some teams are using proof. And so there's just a lot going on. And we do use Fusion, and I'm always kind of adding to the different ways that we use Fusion. We don't use planning, but I'm curious to hear from people who do use it. So it's good. It's just busy and a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure all of us can relate to that. Next, I see Tracy Gutov.
That mute button's hard to find sometimes, with that cursor. Hi, Tracy Gudoff. Nice pronunciation. Appreciate that.
Yay.
Not bad at all. I'm not sure if you guys are going to kick me out. Okay. So I'm with Discover. Okay. And I'm in Chicago. So I found your group. We don't have a Chicago group. So I found your group and I'm like, I hope I can join your group.
Hey, I was in the New York one before. I was in the Boston one.
Yeah,
so,
well, that's great.
Okay.
Chicago, close
yeah. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Safe space. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I work for Discover, and that's Discover Card, recently bought by Capital One. If you guys, have heard that. Legal day one was May 18th. And so with that buy, Capital One has not come to us to say like, hey, what's your instance all about, right? We're still working status quo right now, but I'm sure it's going to happen. But with that said, we've had Workfront since, I believe, 2018 with various people coming and going on the platform. I've been with Discover for 12 years now in various, roles. But what I wanted to do was become a Workfront system admin, which I am now. But I'm also a product owner. So I wear a lot of different hats. We only have 2 system admins at Discover for a very large company. And so it gets really in the weeds when you are trying to get work done, because I support, people who submit issues. I support more of the channels. So meaning, channel marketing, like, email, site marketing, SMS and push, ELU. Well, we'll stay away from ELU. Direct marketing, direct mail, so the channels and not just their globe or their group administrator, but I'm their system administrator. And, I've always wondered, is my position or my job role like everybody else's, because I build custom forms and reports and, build templates and stuff like that. So I've only been at this role, though. It's only going on 2 years. I've learned quite a lot. I have a lot of different departments who think they own Workfront. So I don't know. I was wondering if anybody else here has that same occurrence where they think they can just come in under the radar and say, we own this versus the Workfront team owning it. I mean, I'm curious just how other people are set up. We do use a lot of Fusion. We have a consulting company who has 2 experts there that we use on a daily basis. So we do infuse Fusion a lot. We have complicated workflows that we're building as well. We don't have planning right now. As a bank, the red tape is so vast that it's in, somewhere down the road. Even like AI, the AI tool for Workfront is somewhere in the red tape as well. So it's really kind of hard to get that stuff, without a lot of, months and months and months of, saying like, should we have it? Should we not have it? Et cetera. So I would say that Discover is a little bit behind the ball on that, but just because of, how many, hoops we have to go through. We're heavily compliant, of course, because we're a bank. And so, we have a lot of teams. I would say that we have, Julia, I think, was it you who said you have 750 people in Workfront? Yes, we do not have that much, even though we have tens of thousands of people, in our company. We have a lot less. We have maybe about 350 at different, access levels. And so before I joined the team, Workfront was owned by a creative team inside Discover. And so it was built, I'm not going to say willy-nilly, but it was built with no structure overall, because I don't think they knew how to build it. And so I'm here now to try to clean it up, set some governance. We also hired someone to do governance, help with us, and understand how do you build a portfolio, program, a project, and everything like that? What's the best practice? So even though we've been around for a while, I still think we're immature in the way that Workfront has been set up for us. So I am excited to learn more about how you guys do things, to maybe, just take that in and understand we shouldn't have done it this way. We should do it this way. So that's it.
Great.
So I'm in Chicago.
Thank you.
Always welcome. Thank you.
Bradley Smith.
You want me again? I'm that interesting?
Oh, sorry. Oh,
You jumped on the page.
Okay, here we go. Let me see.
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Denk.
Yeah. If we have the same one, you can also.
I'm Lindsay Denk. I work at IDEX, which is based just outside of Portland, Maine. Technically Westbrook, small town. I've been with IDEX for this is 13 years, but I've been system admin since I think it was 2021 was when it kind of fell into my lap. We've had our instance since about 2017, I think. So I inherited this instance. We have no Fusion. We have legacy licensing, so we don't have some of the things like planning. There are several functions that don't come with legacy licensing. In terms of my role, I'm a part-time admin, solo part-time admin. I also manage our dam, which is Acquia Dam. I report under our marketing project management office. For our instance, we have, over 2,000 users in the system, but only about 165 of them are actually licensed and doing anything, beyond participating in proofs and reading reports. So I guess the other thing I'll say is I am part of this year's Adobe Community Advisor group. So I do a fair amount on the community board. I'm at the CS at Scale webinars religiously. And I'm so thankful for you folks for stepping up to chair this, because while I love to be part of communities, I love to share and learn, I hate event planning. So thank you.
Happy to do it.
Rachel Marolda. Rachel? No? Okay, maybe we'll come back to Rachel. Kimberly Ray.
Hello. I am with Schneider Electric. I am out of the Foxborough office, but I live in Rhode Island. I've been using Workfront, formerly at Task, for about 16 years now. Full-time managing it within Schneider, and it's mostly within our strategy, brand, and communications group, so our creative studios. Everything they do is in Workfront. All of our capacity planning, our proofing, our review cycles. If it's not in Workfront, our designers and writers are not working on it. They we have a pretty robust quarterly planning process that we run through Workfront, we get all of our projects in 1 quarter in advance. So we've already put everything for Q3 into the system for the year. For the next quarter, we've resourced it out so we know we can take on ad hoc work for our studios. We're using, I think we have about 30 different Fusion scenarios set up within that process for inputting the work, reminder messages of when things are due, moving project statuses along to the next gate, and several other automations that we have running. And yeah, I've been using this the whole time. We have about 500 licensed users across multiple groups in Schneider, and then about 8,000 requesters in there today.
Awesome. Next, I see Erin Fuller.
Hi there, Erin Fuller. I'm also working at Fidelity with Jolyn and Brianna, so helping them with Workfront intakes, workflows and processes, just finding ways to be more efficient on our team, making sure that we produce quality work, but also making sure that we're timely and meeting budgets. But I'm really excited to learn a little bit more of how you all are using Fusion. That's something that we're starting to dip our toes into. So curious what your pros and cons are about that and your workflows. And we love a good process. So excited to learn a little bit more here.
Awesome. Thank you. Daniela Canedo.
Sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button as well. Hi, everyone. I'm just supporting Adobe today. This is the first and last day Adobe will be here. It's just for supporting. And please be extremely candid. You can say everything. Nothing will get back. And yeah, I'm only here for support.
Sorry, I should have known the names.
It's all good. No worry.
Thank you for joining today.
Jennifer Mancini.
Hey everyone, I'm Jen Mancini and I am the system admin for Adobe Workfront at Aramark. Full transparency, I am the co-lead for the Workfront User Group in Philly that will kick off in late August. So I'm kind of a fly on the wall. Super excited to be part of this community, and I didn't realize that my camera was not working, so I need to figure that out before August for my own kickoff call. So our instance is still in its infancy stage. We're around 2 years old. We use Workfront for project intake, a lot of reporting with senior leadership, and we are heavy Fusion users. So super excited for that. We are also constantly trying to onboard other folks within the organization. We just set up an instance for our Canadian team, and I'm constantly doing demos throughout to see if we can introduce this great tool to other departments, because a lot of folks are using Smartsheet or lists. And, you know, this is just like a great project management tool across the board. I describe Workfront to others as, you know, you create a workflow or a process and then you reevaluate it over and tweak it again and again and again. And I think that, I don't know about you guys, but I learn the most when I am in these types of conversations with folks like you. I walked away from Adobe Summit with like a list of things that I need to try this and I need to try this. And actually the management team said to me, Jen, you just need to calm down. Like there's too much. You're doing too much at the same time because it's exciting, right? You want to implement everything that you learn. So I'm really excited to learn from you guys. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. Next, I see Virginia.
Yes, hi. Sorry, I had a team meeting, so jumping on a little late, but excited to meet you all and join this group and see where it goes. I work in Fidelity's wealth marketing team and am the system administrator for our Workfront instance. I think they set it up like 10 plus years ago, and there's just a lot of old fields and customizations that are outdated, and I feel like compared to maybe other teams at Fidelity, we're not fully using the tool to its capacity. There's some preferences for Jira and whatnot. And so I'm just interested to learn more through meetings like this and see if I can encourage more adoption or see how to better utilize the tool for our team.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, moving to the next page. Kate Beebe or Bebe? Oh.
So it looks like you're unmuted, but we can't hear you. No.
Uh-oh. Sometimes when I first joined this,
Let's try this.
Oh,
there you are.
I changed the microphone. I don't know. That's not usually what I use. But yes, Beebe, you had it correct. So I'm Kate Beebe. I'm located in Underhill, Vermont, which is outside Burlington. I actually work in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I've never been. For Corning in their optical communications division. It's actually my third company being an admin. Previously, I worked for Seventh Generation, and when I was there, we were bought by Unilever. So Tracy, I think it was you that said you were bought by Capital One. So have fun. Use Workfront, please. Like it helps kind of keep what needs to be done in order and people on track. But yeah, now I work for Corning, which is by far the best instance of Workfront I've been in. Heavily used Fusion. It's just really clean, and I couldn't appreciate that more. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you. Next I see Dave Ferris.
Yeah, hi. I'm turn my camera on here. Dave Ferris. I work at MFS Investments alongside Jason Sear. I've been an end user of Workfront for about 5 or 6 years, and then just in January switched to the sort of product and support side. So I've been helping out with a lot of reports and sort of learning the product owner process in general.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you. All right, let me see. Jody Kerner. Jody?
She put in the chat that she can't get off mute.
Oh.
Oh no. Okay, I'll come back to you. I'll do one more person while you try to figure that out. Christina Piselli.
Oh, she just put in the chat. So anybody, thank you for doing your intro. Joining from TJ Maxx, out my neck of the woods, out near Framingham. Christina is the Workfront admin for a few companies the past 6 years. Currently using it for marketing, creative brand operations teams, and revamping an instance. Ooh, interesting. I'd love to share some tips on resource management, but also cannot wait to hear yours. You've had some integrations with Fusion, AEM, amongst others, and you're building more Fusion scenarios. So I think it already sounds like we're going to do a deep dive in Fusion at some point, and I can't wait.
Awesome. Okay, I know that there was one other person who I called on earlier, but I think they might have dropped also. I'm looking. Is there anybody that Oh, Jody, did you figure out the mute? Nope. Oh,
no.
Okay. I'm sorry, Jody. I think. Oh, Alyssa.
Hi.
Hi.
Everybody
keeps moving.
I had to join late. Sorry, I had a conflict. I am Alyssa Morin. I work at Fidelity with Megan and Jolynn and Erin, who I actually haven't met. Hello. And I'm in the FI and AM marketing side of things. I've been working with Workfront since 2017 when we implemented our instance to the organization, and we have grown by leaps and bounds. I am actively working on Fusion integrations. We have just received approval for AI assistant, and we have a little sneaky peek at planning that Megan and I are playing with a little bit. So we are excited to see how this is all sharing and growing all together. Really appreciate Jolynn for setting up this user group. So thanks so much.
And I'm currently plagiarizing Alyssa's application to get the AI tool turned on because funny enough, since we all run multiple instances, our company does not roll out the tool to everyone. We all have to apply separately. So in the process of that now, and I'm hoping it's a little faster for us than it was for you at this rate. I'm not going to hold my breath, but I am hopeful.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was like jumping through a lot of hoops. So hopefully we've paved the way for you.
Maybe there'll be one less.
Yeah, one less. Hopefully.
Did anyone else miss an intro? Thank you, Alicia, for navigating all the boxes.
Yeah, some people were moving around, so I really apologize if I missed anybody, but I'm looking through the names and I think, is there anybody else?
And Jody's going to be leading the DMV group. So if anybody's down in the Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area, another good one to join.
All right, awesome.
Thank you all.
I think we did it. Thank everybody for introducing yourselves. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Okay, whoops. Okay, so that's pretty much all we had for today. We just wanted to kind of have everybody introduce themselves. Next steps for us is we're going to be sending out a survey for everybody to kind of get a read on some of the hot topics. I think based on the intros, I can already guess where some of our topics are going to go. But we want to get a read on everybody on what topics people are interested in hearing about, how you guys want the meetups to go. We can do virtual, we can do in person, we can do a mixture of the two. And yeah, so that's kind of the next steps. Jolynn's going to put the link to the survey in the chat, and we'll also send it out via email with this deck. And I don't know, Jolynn, do you want to take this one?
We had a few other things that are coming up. One of the, from jumping into a bunch of user groups that were not in my area, but also coming back as a person who came back very overeager from Summit. I started joining all of the trainings online for folks who may not be as involved online in Exchange League. I know I was not. I was very heads down in my instance, not really looking to learn more. I felt like I had not that I didn't have room to grow, but that I just had too much to be doing. I have found a huge community online and lots of trainings, a lot of them happening over the lunchtime hour, but I think I probably have something every week. I heard a lot of folks say that they're marketing and leading, Workfront with marketing and creative teams. There's a really great weekly or monthly call for folks that are using their instance specifically with creative teams and how to kind of negotiate some of the things that we run into in the types of organizations that we help to support. So I'd highly recommend just looking online to see what events you can register for. But coming this summer is there's a new skill exchange multi-day. They have 6 different solutions, but I highlighted here the one that's coming up for Workfront specifically. That'll be in August. And they're from 9 to noon Pacific, so afternoon time for us on the East Coast. The registration for that's coming up in July, so it's not yet live, but do take a peek online, and hopefully you can track those down. And you can always reach out to Alicia or myself if you're looking for some of those things online and can't track them down. I'd be happy to direct you to them. I've been able to find just so much to get involved with, and just things that I've been able to immediately take back to our team. Or questions to have answered, in real time in those calls. So definitely encourage y'all to get involved if you're not already.
And we do have a little bit of extra time. So does anybody have any questions, or we can kind of open it up if anybody has any questions or comments to leave us with? Yes, Tracy.
I have a question. So when did you guys create your user group, the Boston user group?
When
about a month. It's like a month ago that we probably 5 weeks ago. Yeah. Alicia. So I actually attended Summit, and Alicia was a presenter. For those of you who may not have been able to be in her session, if you're a Taylor Swift fan, she had a wonderful Taylor Swift themed session. But at the end, it was the only one that I attended that I actually remember seeing the slide about joining a user group. And I checked online while I was in the room and like cursed under my breath that there wasn't a Boston one. So on the flight back, I reached out to Julie Wilson, who from Adobe, who helps to lead this, and said, hey, what about the New England area? And she said, I have somebody in mind who might want to co-lead if you would be interested in maybe co-leading, because she won't do it unless she can find someone else. And lo and behold, we were reunited. So yeah, this is our first event. And it was really just tracking down, to see who might be interested in the area and pull some folks who have been maybe attending some other groups. But if you go online to where our chapter is, and I had sent that link earlier, it has the list of all the chapters. But I know Julie's always also looking for folks who may be in other regions who are interested. So not that we want to see you go, but
no, and I
up to Chicago or Midwest.
Yeah, I had talked to Julie, by the way, a couple months ago, and given I've only got 2 years of Workfront experience, I'm waffling like, am I the best person to run these? But I know that somebody said they are not an event planner. I'm a complete event planner, and so this would be right up my alley. But I mean, I think I would need like more experienced people in the group, right? Than, just my 2 years or going on 2 years. So I wanted to join this today to find out, like how you guys started it, where you're going, etc. Doesn't mean I want to leave though.
You can always stay, but you can spin up your own. And I'm new too. And I think that was my hesitation initially, is like, am I the person? But then I was like, you know what? I don't have to be the person with all the answers. Somebody in our team today said, what if somebody asks a question you don't know the answer to? I was like, that's going to happen all the time. And that happens constantly. And I will lean on other people, or I can go find the answers. So, no, definitely encourage you to reach back out to her, because I know there were definitely folks from places in the Midwest.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, everybody sounds really, like really excited. I love Workfront, so I'm super excited. And I know my introduction was long. I appreciate you guys listening.
Definitely.
Any other questions? Kim, I saw you came off mute. Do you have a question or something?
No, I was just going to say, I think new is actually a really positive, again, for someone that has been in it for so long, and you get stuck in your old ways and how you've always done it. So to have new ideas, new approaches, people just asking different questions, I think it's actually a really good thing.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it's been hard to breach, because the one person that has been the top system admin who 4 years, and so it's kind of hard to break through, her mentality and say like, but what if we do it this way, So, thank you.
Any other questions from anybody, or?
You guys were going to ask who went to Adobe Summit.
Yeah.
Some of the people in the chat, have went, and I'm so honored that you guys came to my session, especially on the last day. I was like, I didn't even know if I was going to make it to the last day. I was like, oh gosh, speaking of the last day, it was pretty rough.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go this year. I went last year, but not this year.
I can't get my company to pay to send me anywhere.
Oh no.
Which is also a sign of how, we're still on legacy licensing and don't have Fusion, or they're not heavy on investing right now.
Well, if you become a speaker.
Oh, I have. Yeah. I mean, I spoke at the November Skill Exchange in San Francisco.
That's awesome.
But that was thanks to credit card air miles and free lodging, because I have family out there. That's it.
Yeah, my boss, Miles Baltrusitis, he loves talking about Workfront. And he was just in New York a couple months ago giving a presentation to, I think it was senior leadership folks, about the instances, like portfolio optimizer, goals, stuff like that, business cases, how to write good business cases.
Mm-hmm. I always have these. It just astounds me that I don't have more people like latching on to some of this stuff, but that's part of my challenge.
It's hard. People don't like change, especially.
No, they don't.
No.
the
No.
hardest part that I've been at Qualcomm for 13 years, and I've been in charge of operational tools the entire time. And the hardest part is just getting people to accept that we're changing the way we're doing a process. So,
Mhm.
and then once they use it, they're like, oh yeah, this does make my life easier. But it's really hard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I've been to both as well. And Leap, yeah, when it was just Workfront, a couple thousand people. And I think everybody that went this year, I think we were hearing 12,000 people at Summit this year. So the scale is much different, and it's all Adobe products from everywhere. But there's definitely a big Workfront focus for sure. I mean, content supply chain, Workfront, AI, and Fusion were the big topics, I think everybody would say that went. So I do think Adobe has brought Workfront into Adobe now. They kept the lion head, which is cool. But I think they're seeing that it can be the backbone of content supply with planning and Fusion and everything else that they're doing. So there is a huge focus on Workfront, even though it's under Adobe. You may think it's not, but it's a big focus for sure. At least I took away that it was. I don't know how others felt.
I had a similar
Jeffrey,
concern looking.
go
Oh,
ahead,
sorry.
Megan.
Go ahead, Joel.
Oh, I was gonna say I miss Leap. I miss it. It's just not. It's not the same.
No, it was much more
Yeah.
fun. I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
Vegas can be fun, but you have more fun in Nashville, honestly, when they had it there. So
Like, I appreciate like the lens of the Adobe view during Summit, but I think what I miss about Leap when it was like just Workfront is how like granular you could really get with some like the product folks. And I think sometimes the sessions now are more high level, or they're more focused towards an individual company. So like there's no like training sessions as much. That's what I miss.
no.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Megan. But
I find that skill exchange sort of feeds a little
Yeah,
bit of
that kind of helps.
that need. Yeah.
Yeah, Adobe Summit I find is too surfacey. They don't get into the nitty gritty. They probably can't. I get it. But last year when I went, my focus was completely on Workfront, not AEM or anything else. And I still thought everything was very surfacey and not really what I truly needed. So I tend to take as many, classes, training as I can. I've taken the Fusion, Admin 1 and 2, etc.
Another great add-on
If
to
you guys
it,
have the
something that I did
opportunity
and I
to
helped with him.
attend any of the boot camps, I highly recommend that you take advantage, or if you're invited to attend a boot camp. I attended a content supply boot camp in May, and it was really interesting because it was, I would say like 2/3 of it were focused on Workfront. And it was like we were sitting in the room with our laptops, like doing like instructional, like processes, and it was very hands-on. There was at the table, there was an Adobe person. They had Adobe folks walking around the room answering questions. So I'm a very hands-on learner. I did attend Summit. I think that for me, the benefits of Summit were honestly hearing what's coming down the pike, because I'm trying to expand the Workfront instance across the organization. You can take examinations there as many times as you want if you fail them, and you can take them for free. So that's a huge benefit, I think. And they did have some great sessions that I did attend. And then in the showroom floor, the center of the showroom is all Adobe folks. So I went there with literally things that I needed specific answers to, and had like one-on-one meetings with like Adobe engineers, like right there. So I think sometimes it's, and I didn't even know about that until one of my coworkers was like, here's the lay of the land for Summit. And that could be honestly like a session in itself, how to get the most out of Summit. Because it is very overwhelming. 12,000 people, it is very overwhelming. But there are like little tips and tricks within.
Yeah, I was going to second.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely.
I was going to say the exams for me was a big one, and something that I was able to take back because I was actually in the process of working on taking one and then realized the cost would be covered. So, and I, as someone who did fail on the first one by a question, then had to go back, it was nice to be able to have that time across those days to do that. So, it was a good opportunity to do that live, and carve out the time while I was there. So, if as you make the case for going, or strategize on what's the best way to get something out of it, having that cost covered is really, really nice.
All right, great. If there's no other questions, I'm just going to remind everybody to sign up for the chapter if you haven't. And please take our survey. I've already been seeing some responses coming in, so I'm excited to review those once everybody has had the chance to take the survey. It's very short. And yeah, thank you all for taking the time today. We really appreciate it, and we're excited to meet again.
And yeah,
thank you.
Planning on setting up another one later in the summer, and we'll reach out to y'all soon.
Great.
Good to see you all. Good to meet you. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.